And then also with my family's journey, with me having multiple sclerosis and with Zaria having autism and epilepsy, I'm like, I don't know what better proof that is, because people always say when they see me, oh, you don't look like you have multiple sclerosis. And I'm like, that's because of the treatment that I'm using for myself. And Zaria is doing well because of the treatment.
Welcome to the Miracle Plant Podcast, the show that inspires, promotes, and gives you a daily dose of inspiration from the people who have used cannabis to change their lives in extraordinary ways. Here's your host, Justin Benton.
Welcome to the Miracle Plant Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. And boy, do we have a story that you have to absolutely hear to believe. Joining us today is Taraus Parker. Taraus has an incredible journey similar to our story with our son, who was diagnosed on the severe end of the spectrum, or autism. And with this miracle plant that helped heal our son, again, it was our moral obligation to pay it forward. And that's one of the main reasons why we started the Miracle Plant Podcast. And the main reason was so we could share other people's stories that have been affected by this miracle plant. And so with us today, Taraus is going to tell us her story of how the miracle plant has affected her life and her family's life. And it's just incredible. So Taraus, welcome to the Miracle Plant Podcast. How are you?
Thank you, Justin. I am fabulous. I'm great. I am actually right now in Texas, Dallas, Texas. My children surprised me for my birthday, which is tomorrow. So, thank you. So I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. I'm also a Scorpio too. My birthday's coming up here pretty soon too. So that's a pretty cool gift that the family gave you, a nice little surprise weekend getaway. Where do you normally live?
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Gotcha. And that's quite a trip to go out there and I'm assuming you guys have some fun plans ready to go.
They completely surprised me. We had dinner on Wednesday night. And they surprised me with a little box with money. And at the end of the money was the plane ticket. I had no idea. Most of my close family and friends knew all about the surprise. My daughter planned it all. My fiance, they all knew except for me, even Miss Zaria. And that was the coolest part, that she actually was focused and she knew that there was a secret going on. And I am just like really excited to share that whole story about her. But the fact that she knew that everybody was keeping a secret from mommy, and she was happy and she was jumping up and down. And man, I know for a fact that the CBD from 101 CBD is helping her with that. That really just brought tears to my eyes. Man, it's just absolutely beautiful. So so we're here in Texas, and we're going to be going out and doing some things today and this weekend, and I'm looking forward to that.
Wonderful. If you wouldn't mind, maybe tell us your journey and what led you to leading up to finding the raw CBDA oil, and just tell us your story and your journey, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I actually start with myself. I was diagnosed in 2011 with multiple sclerosis, and I never wanted to be on a medication for multiple sclerosis because of the side effects. I have a career in healthcare. I worked in a hospital for 10 years. I know about healthcare. I know about all these different drugs and how they cause different side effects to the body. So I've always just been doing research and stuff and trying to figure out a way to treat the body in a holistic way. A couple of years ago, I started just using CBD for myself. And then fast forward to 2019, I went to a autism conference. And I found the Autism Hope Alliance. And Autism Hope Alliance, that's how I actually ended up getting connected to 101 CBD. I ended up getting a sample for Zaria. And I started using the CBD oil for Zaria. But I used it for myself for a while too. And I was like, man, this stuff makes you feel good. I would have a little pain because with multiple sclerosis, it causes issues with the central nervous system. Muscle spasms, migraines. I have nerve damage in my feet and my hands, and I would take some, and 15, 20, 30 minutes later, I wouldn't have any pain. And I was like, this is better than taking the prescription pills, which is just like naproxen, ibuprofen, things like that. And with Zaria, I used the chill the Chill X CBD oil for her, and it really helps take away her anxiety and it keeps her calm. And I just started using that for her. Zaria's been using it, I think it's been almost a year. Yeah. And it's been absolutely amazing. She's focused more. She's doing things that she's just never been interested in, like writing and reading. As a mom, being told that your child is basically mentally retarded, that's what they told me. They was like, she has a disability. She's developmentally delayed, persuasive development disorder, and atrophy of the brain. And also for Zaria, she has epilepsy, and she was diagnosed at the age of 5 with epilepsy. She was diagnosed at the age of 2 with autism. And the CBD is preventing her from having seizures. She has not had any seizures. She has 2 different types. She would have grand mal seizures and also absent seizures where she would stare. Her being able to focus better in school, her being able to focus better at home. That's one of the main things that I would say as a mom that I'm noticing for her, because for some kids with autism, they have ADHD. She's normally a little hyper. She normally would have a shorter attention span. So to see her actually focus on something and finish it just would bring tears to my eyes. To see her watch a movie and halfway through the movie not get up and not move around. She actually completes them and finishes them. Zaria is really into the arts. She's dancing more, singing more, just talking more. And I know that since she's been using the CBDA, that it's really just helped her basically just have a better quality of life. There's times where me and my kids, my older kids, Zamira and James, will be in the house and we'll be doing something, and Zaria will say a word that she's never said before. And Zamira will be like, Mom, did you hear her? She said this. And James will be like, oh my God, did you hear Zaria? She said that. And then we're like, Zaria, you said this. And she's 18 years old now. But to hear her speak, I'm trying not to get too emotional, but to hear her talk.
It's understandable. I know exactly where you're coming from.
As I'm talking now, I just feel like some people that don't have kids with disabilities, they don't understand our journey. They don't understand all of the stuff that we go through. And I also feel like when you find it a good thing, you should share it. So I thank God for my 101 CBD family. I thank God for the Autism Hope Alliance. Being able to share this information and being on this podcast right now is really a birthday present for myself. Seeing my daughter do well in school, seeing her pick up a pencil and a notebook and being able to start to write her name, start to write out Michael Jackson, because she's obsessed with Michael Jackson, but to see her do things in a different way, it's really wonderful. She's cleaning up in the house more, folding laundry, just interested in so many things that a person with a child without a disability that gets up and do these things on a normal day wouldn't even think of. That's what it's done for her. For me, I take the Alleviate and the Boost. The Alleviate takes away my pain, and I get a lot of migraine headaches, a lot of spasms in my hands and feet and my back with multiple sclerosis, and it's working for me. I take that consistently though, like 3 times a day. And I take Boost in the morning to help give me energy. Every now and then I'll take Chill if I can't sleep and I want to get some rest. But it's also helping other members of my family, if I can just say that. My daughter, she's a busy cosmetologist, and she has very early mornings and she has late nights. And I asked her, I was like, can I share a little bit about what you did? And she was like, yeah. And she's like, Mom, look, she's like, I took Boost for some days and it really helped me. It gave me energy. She said, I went 2 days without Boost. She's like, I cannot have the Boost, Mom. She was like, it's just because, like I said, she's a busy cosmetologist. She has to do hair and she has early morning, so she needs that extra energy. And then she also is a mom of 2. And she has an 8-year-old and a 7-month-old now. So she's busy. And so she said, it doesn't bother me at all. It just helps me with my energy. And I love it. And she said, I'm going to go ahead and order me some because I don't want to use up all your Boost.
Yeah, we get that a lot. We'll have people come in and they'll love it and share it with their family. And especially like in the retail locations, they'll come back and I'm like, you were just here 2 days ago. Yeah, someone stole my Boost. My mom or my dad or my husband, They just took it, or they drank it all, and I need my own. I'm hiding mine, keeping mine over here. But it's definitely, our whole family uses it, and it's incredible to hear how much it's helping you and your family. And it really is a miracle. And I'm just really happy that you got to come on and share your story, because like you said, a lot of us that have children that are, I always just say that they're just a little slower to reach their potential, because every human body DNA code cell doesn't know that there's any type of label that's put on there. And they know what true north is. And sometimes it just takes a lot longer for a lot of us for those milestones to be hit. Whether sometimes it's eye contact, sometimes it's laughing, sometimes it's language, it's words, it's little things. And it's really, you don't know unless you have been there. It's beautiful to share. And that's why we're doing this podcast, is because we just want people to hear these stories, because people don't know. They don't know. There's around 80% of the country has heard of CBD, and about 20% of the country has tried CBD, and about 10% of the country has tried good CBD. 90% of the country that has no idea that there's a plant out there with a lot of different names and is understood, could help them, their bodies and their brains find homeostasis. It's a natural supplement, just like, vitamin or eating, except it's really packed with all of these cannabinoids like CBD and terpenes with the smells and the flavonoids and all of that. And I would be remiss not to mention, now that I can talk all this science language with you, because you recently got a degree from UNLV out there. So congratulations on that for you.
Thank you. And that's, I try not to get too deep with people, but I'm so passionate about it. When I start talking about the endocannabinoid system and how we have the CB1 receptors and the CB2 receptors, and getting that homeostasis, that balance. And I was explaining it to somebody, and I was like, Blaze, I said, you're not going to have an allergic reaction to CBD. I was like, people will question CBD before they'll question Tylenol and ibuprofen and all this stuff that they get from going to Walmart and Target and just buying it, opening it, and popping it. And I said, this is more natural and better for you than everything that you got in your medicine cabinet right now. And it's really interesting to learn about this plant and how it was there back years ago. Even learning in school how if you had a farm, you had to have a hemp farm. It was mandatory to have a hemp farm. Then they took it all away after the wars and all that stuff. And it's now everything is coming back. And I really do see the future in CBD and how the health industry, it's going to all change. Because like right now, they're looking for medical marijuana nurses to be in dispensaries now. And it's really interesting. And I can't wait to take my next class. I'm taking more classes. I have another class coming up in January, Cannabis and the Opioid Epidemic. That's one of the things that I've been stressing, that people don't realize that how much these medications cause different side effects, and it's harming our organs. And we have something natural, a more natural and holistic way to heal our bodies. And I really try to stress that out to the elderly people who are taking all these different drugs for different things. And it's just like putting a cap on something, but you'll never have to, you're going to always have to keep putting the cap on it because you're still taking those medicines. But yeah, going to school and learning about CBD and cannabis and different laws and how it's affecting us and how times are changing. And this is 2020. It's amazing. I'm just seeing everything change right before my eyes, and being a part of the 101 CBD family, I'm learning a lot, from our Zoom calls and all of that. And then plus learning stuff from school, I'm just like a book right now. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to start my blog and just start sharing things with people. And if anybody have any questions, they can just ask me. And then also with my family's journey, with me having multiple sclerosis and with Zaria having autism and epilepsy, I'm like, I don't know what better proof that is, because people always say when they see me, oh, you don't look like you have multiple sclerosis. And I'm like, that's because of the treatment that I'm using for myself. And Zaria is doing well because of the treatment. I remember speaking to her pediatrician about using CBD, and he was just like, go for it. And he was like, one day it would be nice if I could write her a prescription for some CBD. So some of the doctors out here are trying to get on board with knowing, they know that this stuff is good for us.
The doctor's go-to line a couple of years ago was, there's not enough research, which was both. If you go to PubMed, just type in CBD in the search box and you'll see hundreds, if not thousands of articles on CBD from all different types of ailments that they were studying, things like that. So that started to change when the people started coming and they would come to their doctors, and instead of asking their doctors, what do you think about CBD, doc? They'd be like, hey, doc, just so you know, I'm taking CBD and this stuff really works. You should probably look into it. And as that, they don't teach anything in the medical schools or have on the exams or the board exams, anything about the endocannabinoid system or any of the CBD things that you and I know. And so a lot of doctors, we educate them and teach them. And some have taken it on themselves to go get certified, like we have been, but there's a long road to hoe, and we're going to keep doing it. And there's a lot of information that they can find on our blogs at themiracleplant.org or 101cbd.org or 101hemp.org. And then your blog, how do they get a hold of you and your blog and your Instagram?
They can follow me on Instagram at Taraus P, Tarausp, like Parker. And I post stuff all the time. I'm always sharing everything on my story, on my feed. And then also on Facebook, my blog is CBD with Taraus P. And it's funny that you mentioned about the systems. I went live, and I'll go live. I'm starting to go live from time to time. I went live a few days ago, and I was like, quick chat, and I was talking about the different systems. And I said, it's funny how in school you take biology, and in college you take anatomy and physiology. And I've taken both of those classes. I said they teach you about your respiratory system, your digestive system, your integumentary system. You learn about all these different systems, but they didn't teach you about the endocannabinoid system. And that's why I'm glad we are here to share that. As we know, Dr. Raphael McCullum, who is the godfather of CBD, we can thank him for a lot of things. Like I said, I try not to get too technical. People are like, oh, who is this? Who is that? And I'm telling you, anything that I tell you can Google it. I'm not going to tell you anything wrong. But we learned about the endocannabinoid system and the CB1 and the CB2 receptors. And that's actually the next little slide that I have to actually share on my blog. I want people to understand that this is not harmful. CBD, good, like 101 CBD has good raw organic CBDA oil is good. And it can definitely help you with consistency, because some people think, oh, they can take it one time and it's just going to be okay. But you have to be consistent with it and take it, and it will definitely help you. I can attest to that. I can attest to having a child with autism that's going from not being focused to completely being focused. And it's like a new world. And like you mentioned, the laughing, she's laughing more. Her eyes are even brighter. I looked at her eyes, and her eyes just look so much brighter now. It's just amazing. She's so into her little nephew. And just to hear her go, oh, hey, baby. Hi, man. To hear her play with the baby, like how we would play with the baby. It's amazing to me. It's just absolutely wonderful. And there are times when I just find myself when I'm alone as a mom, and I just tear up. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful for you guys, for you and your family, and for all of the research that you guys have done for this product. It's absolutely amazing, and I thank you. And I'm glad that I'm here because I want to continue to share, just spread all the awareness that I can about CBD and how we can, help heal the world together.
We're so happy to have you here. You're a part of our family, and you're also part of our brand ambassadors. And yes. I know you have a code as well that people can use to get 25% off of. What's your code?
Yes, my code is Latara, Latara 25. And that's all together, all caps, Latara 25. Anybody that wants to purchase some CBD oil can use that, and they can save 25% off. And I do share that also on my blog. So,
and we've come to learn, and so many others, that all CBD is not created equal.
It is not.
CBD is just one part of the plant, and you can cook it, isolate it, process it down in this white powder, fake sugar-looking stuff. And the computer might read it as CBD, but our bodies and our brain computers have no idea what to do with it. It doesn't even connect to our CB1 receptors in our brains or our CB2 receptors in our bodies. It usually just slides off. And there might be that brief interaction where there might be some help. But there's also some studies out there that isolated CBD, that white powder junk, can actually clog up your receptors. So it could be a net negative. So all CBD is not created equal. It's just common sense. When you have a beautiful plant, you just juice it. And that's essentially what our products are. They're just juiced hemp juice, high CBDA, raw CBD in every product. And that's why there's such incredible stories. Our bodies make CBD in the form of 2-AG. CBD's in broccoli and kale. You've been eating it your whole life. And yeah, it's a miracle plant. There's no two ways about it.
And it's interesting because it's like I thought about that. I have a book that I use. I call it my Bible. It's a CBD health book. I actually shared it on my blog, and I was reading about that and how we make these different parts of the CBD. And it was talking. It said something similar about how women make breast milk to feed the babies. And I said, you got to think about the body, these natural things, and how this plant is. There's so many different benefits to it. It's just, I was literally looking at the book like, this is just absolutely amazing. And CBN, how that can help with sleep, and it's just, and I said that too. I said CBD and THC, and there's other ones. I said, you guys, there's so many different things. But if you're not researching it and studying it like we are, you wouldn't know. But it's so many more to it. And I really hope that people are paying attention and that they're learning that they can heal their bodies in a more holistic way. So I'm just looking forward to the future and sharing awareness. And I hope that by me sharing my story, that it has helped someone and that they are like, hey, you know what, maybe I'll go ahead and, give this a try. Because I know some people are scared and hesitant, but it's really good for you. It really can change your life. It really has helped me. I have energy that I normally wouldn't have because multiple sclerosis causes lots of fatigue. And I know by me taking the Alleviate and the Boost that it definitely makes a difference in my everyday life. I'm just really happy. And I actually need to place an order today.
Again, thanks for coming on and sharing your incredible journey. And what a story, how this miracle plant is helping you find balance and homeostasis, and especially helping your daughter on her journey to find and reach her full potential and healthy and happy living as well. And the last question I would ask is, what would you say to parents out there who are struggling with, should I try CBD? I've heard so much about it. What advice would you give them?
I would definitely tell them if they would like their child to have a better quality of life, and for themselves too, actually for their whole family, to try it, to go ahead and do it. They won't be disappointed. They will not be disappointed. It's life-changing.
Absolutely. Thank you again for coming on the Miracle Plant Podcast, sharing your incredible journey and your family's journey. And I look forward to supporting and educating and seeing what amazing things that you accomplish in the years to come with this miracle plan and branching out and spreading the good word all over that desert and around the country and around the world. And I'm sure we'll be able to get to hang out in person at some of the conventions that are coming up. And it's a miracle plant, and we've got to keep sharing the good word all over the world because so many people don't have any clue what this plant can do for them. So once again, thanks for coming on, and we look forward to seeing all the things that you get to do and hearing back. And I know you're part of the family, so we talk every week, and I'm looking forward to hearing more and more amazing stories with your family. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Justin. Have a great day.
You too. And thanks everybody for listening to the Miracle Plant Podcast. And remember, if you have a story that you want to share, how this miracle plant has helped you or your family or a loved one, please reach out to us. You can reach us at the info@themiracleplant.org, info@themiracleplant.org, and also visit the website, The Miracle Plant. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you learned a little more about this plant and the ailments and the things, how it can help set up our brains and bodies for success. And be sure to tune in next week to hear another incredible story of how this miracle plant has helped yet another family. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you then.